Obama and Biden let North Korea threaten America. President Trump rejected that weakness, and we passed the toughest sanctions on North Korea in history. Obama and Biden let Iran get away with murder and literally sent them a plane full of cash. President Trump did the right thing and ripped up the Iran nuclear deal. Obama and Biden led the United Nations to denounce our friend and ally, Israel. President Trump moved our embassy to Jerusalem, and when the UN tried to condemn us, I was proud to cast the American veto.
That was former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley at the GOP National Convention last night, contrasting Trump's America First foreign policy with what Nikki Haley called the, quote, blame America First policies of Joe Biden and Barack Obama. Let's welcome Fox News contributor Byron York back to the show. Byron, it's always great to see you. What was your reaction to Nikki Haley's speech?
Well, it was a pretty ringing defense of Trump foreign policy by a Republican who's thought to be a possible 2024 candidate. You just heard her defending what the president has done in a number of things in the Middle East, destroying ISIS, by the way, and other accomplishments. And also, you did hear reminders of what happened in American foreign policy when Barack Obama was the president and Joe Biden the vice president. And if you remember, early on in President Obama's first term, he went on what was called an apology tour. He seemed to kind of go around the world apologizing for bad things the United States had done in the past. And this is something that did not sit well at all with Republicans and probably a number of independents as well. So it was no accident that Nikki Haley reminded people of that last night.
You know, our defense and intelligence officials deserve a lot of credit, too, for what's going on in foreign policy as well, because let's go through it. Before President Trump, we had the ascent of al-Qaeda, we had 9/11, we had the catastrophe of Iraq, what was going on in Afghanistan, America's longest war, the collapse of U.S. authority in Syria and Libya, as you point out, the rise of ISIS, and we had Russia pushing into Eastern Europe and the rise of China. So your take on now what analysts are saying, the president has reformed U.S. policy on the Middle East, China, and also what's going on in Europe.
Well, obviously the president hoped for a big breakthrough on trade with China, and that is pretty much in tatters at the moment after the coronavirus issue and some other issues in trade. So that's a real problem right now. But in other areas, as far as Europe is concerned, the president has stood up to NATO in a way that I think a lot of Americans would have wanted to do but didn't do. And basically, all he was saying was NATO should pay its fair share for defending Western Europe. And that's something that was remarkably really controversial early on in the president's term, but it fits entirely with where his foreign policy is. And then there is the issue of Afghanistan, where we invaded in late 2001, November, December 2001, and it is now August of 2020, and we're still there. The president has reduced the number of American troops there, and will probably reduce it to a smaller number by the end of his first term.
Byron York, it's great to see you. Come back soon.
Thank you, Liz.